Jump into the Olympics from here, considering we sort of made that slight transition before we came to break. But there's a lot of different things that happened yesterday in the Olympics, and all of them made the U.S. a very happy country.
USA!
USA! USA!
Yeah,
I wish I had like our national anthem as a background music. I'd be like, boom! I'll play that as background noise. I wouldn't care. No, I didn't mean you do it.
Oh.
So we've took gold yesterday in numerous events.
That's very true.
Which is always an awesome thing to say. But yet we're still tied with China with 23 medals each.
Man.
But believe it or not, second place is at 13 and Japan. So China and the U.S. are already up 10 on everybody else. Odds have it, it's going to stay that way. And hopefully Team USA can pull a little ahead of China and we could be the top medal getters. You know, it made me wonder, though, before we get into the actual events from yesterday, and this goes to everybody in our chat room or anybody out there listening, if you want to call in, 201-430-2119. But would you rather the USA Olympic team, so that's, you know, our USA representatives as a whole, would you rather us win the medal count or win the gold medal count? And I think that's an interesting question to have. You know, would you rather have the most medals or would you rather have the most gold and maybe fall short of the most medals by a couple?
I'd rather have most overall medals.
Most overall medals? I think I'd rather have the most gold.
So let's just say that the most golds, I know this is not the number. Let's just say it's 25. 25 gold medals. What if you have 0 medals in everything else? So you're one of the worst countries when it comes to medaling, but when you win, you win.
Well, yeah, that'd be one hell of an ironic twist to your Olympic visit. You're like, look, you guys dominated when you won, but when you didn't win, you didn't even get on the podium. I mean, that's actually a really good, I mean, that's a valid way to look at it because you got to be, let's be honest here, just because you win the most gold doesn't mean you're going to be in the top group of medal-winning countries as a whole. So, you know what? That's actually a fair point. So we'll say maybe it's a better idea to have the most medals instead of the most gold. If anybody has their own opinion on that, feel free to throw that into the chat room or call in 201-430-2119. As I said to Joey yesterday, though, if you're going to watch any basketball yesterday, as I said to Joey before we hit break, when you watch basketball outside of the USA men's team, there's not many teams worth watching. There's not many matchups that are very, very much worth watching. But you had one yesterday with France versus Argentina. Tony Parker versus Manu Ginobili. Very weird to say that. First time.
Yeah, that never happens.
They've actually never played each other. Not in international friendly. Yesterday was the first time the two of them played on opposite teams in the same game. It was fun to watch to a certain extent. Tony Parker's just been off this whole Olympics, even the preliminary games where they were just practice games leading up. He's not playing very well. There's some think the goggles that he's wearing are affecting him. I have no idea, to be honest with you. But what I do know is that he's been struggling. And out of the two guys, he looked the worst. Manu Ginobili played much better than he did. But Tony Parker got the last laugh with France beating Argentina.
Ha ha.
So, I mean, I personally, I don't know about you, but I'd rather have had my team win than have a better game than my teammate, because when we get home, he might look at me and say, ha ha, I schooled you. I will look at him and say, ha ha, we beat you.
We dominated you.
You know, so you had moments, I had the game. You know what I mean? Like that.
You might have won a battle, but I won the war.
Yeah. Jackie puts into the chat room when we were discussing the gold medals or total medals that it's better to break a world record and get one gold because that goes down in history books. If, let's say, a country win 10 gold medals, but I can see them trying to beat that record, I'm going to look it up. All right, I see what you're trying to say there, Jackie, and that's actually another really good point, is the fact that, you know, if you think about it, you win a gold medal and get a world record, you're written in a book, your name's there, the year, what you did, the time you did it in, and that always will stay there. Even when your record's broken, it's still in the record books, it just drops down the list. But at the same time, the more I'm thinking about this, the Olympics, as a fan, I'd rather see my country on the top of that medal count. The Olympics as a competitor, I think I'd rather get a gold medal and have a world record compared to
exactly. But that's your
my
point
country
in the
leading the.
You're trying to get the gold medal.
Count. Well, yeah, you hope so. Unless you're, what's the South Korea, China? Badminton. They apparently were throwing games to adjust and affect their seeding.
Yes, but
in
that's
the
actually
elimination round.
That's actually a good thing, though. Not a good thing, but they got caught pretty much because what is the spirit of the Olympics? What are you trying to do?
The spirit of competition.
Spirit of competition, okay. The spirit of competition goes out the window when you start throwing games. And it's not like they're throwing games for money or anything like that. They're throwing games to get a better seeding. Because right now it's like a round robin in the badminton world. And eventually it goes to an elimination. So they're trying to, figure themselves out like, okay, we want to stay away. I don't know who's good. So China's saying, okay, we need to stay away from USA. So we're going to try and lose and try and get paired up against Indonesia, who sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how the badminton world is looking at it. I look at it as this. You shouldn't be trying to fix these games, try to lose. Your goal of the Olympics is to win. Beat your competitor that's in front of you. That is my opinion, what you're supposed to be doing.
Well, that's how it should. You should be able to sit there and work your way through whatever obstacles and interactions you're going to have to deal with on your trip to a medal. And I don't know how...
It's fair competition.
To me, it's one of those things where it's like, wouldn't you feel better about yourself when you left, too? Like, I wouldn't want to say I took the easy road. I just want... Like, dude, I put it this way. Like, example A, sitting right here. This is not the easy road. The easy road, it would have been, for me to sit there and just say, all right, well, let's suck it up and just do something I don't want to do. Like, this is a shot. It's not the easy road. It's a shot. We see what happens. If I fail, I fail. At least I try. That's all that matters. You got to give it your best shot. And I think that for a country, a team, a individual athlete to try and set themselves up with the path of least resistance, I guess you would say, is embarrassing. Like, as an athlete, that's embarrassing. You shouldn't want to do something like that.
No, and I completely agree with that statement. But you know what? I kind of feel like those teams are looking at it as, we're sacrificing a battle to win the war. I know I just used that, but it's the exact same thing. That's what they're trying to do.
It's appropriate.
Because they're trying, the overall goal is to win the gold medal. So if they could lose a match in the match that doesn't really matter because it's not elimination.
Like they can afford to lose it.
If you can afford to lose it and get a better matchup in the elimination, I mean, why not?
What do you guys think out there in the chat room world or in the TuneIn Radio app world or the ClubZone.fm app world? I'm curious to know. Do you think it's right for these teams to do what they did to set themselves up to have an easier path? I'm very curious to know. Maybe if anybody out there has another opinion, 201-430-2119.
I actually think they got kicked out now. I'm pretty positive those teams are like eliminated. Like they can't.
Well, I think they should be, but I think some people might have a different opinion. I know some people might sit there and say, well, you go to the Olympics to win a medal. However you get there is a different story. You go there to win a medal. But there are people that will think like that.
Absolutely.
But Jackie obviously agrees with us. No, it's not right. But I just. It's a shame to me because, you sit there and it'd be like, somebody, I think the most relatable sports would be like a soccer or a tennis or like, something they have a group stage to because that's what they were trying to do, set themselves up in the group to be matched up with somebody in the opposite group, but that's what they were trying to do. So like soccer is a similar thing where you're in Group A, you're going to play Group C. You rather be the second place guy and play the second place guy from Group C than play the number one. I mean, it makes sense, but it shouldn't happen. It's like KGM throws in. It's a lot like throwing the end of the season for a high draft pick. I think it's similar. I wouldn't say it's identical, but it's very similar. Same idea where you're just like, all right, we're gonna buy. Ownership and the management are like, all right, time to rest players because we could get that number one pick. We need that franchise quarterback, or our running back's 32.
It's a little different.
You're
looking to get that number one pick as opposed to a gold medal. I mean, it's a little different. It's a little different. But I just say, hey, put somebody in front of you. You got to win. You can't just be throwing things around. That's all. Don't be throwing anything.
There you go, Pixar Junkie. I say use Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Running man rules.
Wow. Kill or be killed. That is. It might take away from the spirit of friendly competition with the kill or be killed, but
I get
at the same time,
I get it.
You talk to some of these athletes, and that's how they motivate themselves to go. Yeah, all right. I see KGM's argument with that. Yeah.
But it's two different things.
Yeah, with the draft pick thing we were talking about, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are out there listening through the app, KGM follows up his statement about the throwing the season for a draft pick is the fact, a gold medal is a medal, but, say you get the number one pick, that could be the difference in your franchise for the next 10 years. So I do agree with that one. Jeremy chimes in, mentioning the draft. History will always add in the Colts tanked the season. I believe that to a certain extent. Don't believe that on the other side. Look, to me, it's the same idea as the NBA rigging the draft so the New Orleans Hornets got the number one pick.
And how Cleveland got the number one pick last year?
It's a crapshoot, guys. I mean, if they're rigging these things, then they would rig them for Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Miami, Boston. They would rig it for the major markets where all their money comes to. New Orleans is a good market, but NBA-wise, it does not bring in the same kind of money that a New York or something like that could win. I think that either way, you shouldn't do it. It's that simple. All right, play who you're supposed to play and try to win your match.